That's you.
Oh, welcome, ICB fans, to another episode of the Indy SportsCar Podcast. Hey, Missy.
Hello, hello.
What's up,
How's it going,
Jared?
everybody? And now,
Josh? Sorry.
Yeah, doing good.
Um, am I the only one seeing my names backwards?
everything's good on my end. If it's reversed for you, then
Okay. I mean, my shirt is backwards as well, so okay, fair enough. We'll figure this all
There's actually some news.
yes, we do have some news this week. A surprising amount of news for a non-iRacing, non-race week. But
out.
Missy, what do you got for us?
Well, I guess we can start with F1. I mean, there's quite a bit more that came out there. But yeah, Vettel was the shocking news, I guess. He won't be with Ferrari next year, is it? I mean, is it really this year? Thoughts?
I couldn't really understand any of that, but
Jared?
a lot of news out of F1 with Sebastian. Yeah,
Couldn't understand
no,
what
it
she
was
said
very
or
quiet
the story.
and mumbly. I didn't understand any of it. But I think she was talking about the news of Sebastian Vettel being replaced. He's out at Ferrari and is being replaced by Carlos Sainz. However you
Sands.
pronounce it. Is that what you're talking about, Missy?
Yes.
Was she
That was a
loud
little
at that
better.
time?
Oh, I gotta kiss my mic, I think.
Yeah, it's always been like that. That's why these mics are like that, because when I go like this, you can't hear me. And because we do this together, remember?
Well, maybe I'm just going to buy 2 of my headsets and send them to you guys.
That's all right. I got plenty of equipment here. It works just fine. It really does. When you use it properly, when you're talking to the mic properly. Because Missy goes like this. I don't know. A little, and she, it's just kind of fun. It's adorable.
Well, yeah, it is what it is. Back to the story here. It is quite the interesting to see. I mean, this won't even take effect till next year with Sainz replacing Vettel, but they already have somebody signed. It's kind of suspect whether this has been in the works for a long time and nobody knew about it, or if it really did come together that fast.
Do you think he's retiring, or he's going to be with another team next year?
No, he's basically retiring, and then I think Mercedes should jump all over it. That'd be great. Vettel and Hamilton in the same car. We'll finally find out, which driver is actually better since they'll be in the same car finally.
What, the other drivers that were in the same car as him weren't?
I mean, it's F1. Every car is different. Jared, what do you think?
It will be interesting to see how he goes to a different team. I mean, it is a vast upgrade in terms of the car he'll be driving and the team he'll be with. I mean, Sainz is a good young talent. It's kind of been stuck in back marker to mid pack teams for his entire career. So it's like any driver in IndyCar gets the bump up to a Penske or Ganassi from a lower team. You'll really get to see if they have the talent or if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to see if of where Vettel ends up. Just the number of positions on the grid. I mean, now that Daniel Ricciardo's moving on to McLaren, obviously the door's shut at McLaren, but that opens up a seat at Renault that Vettel could potentially go to. Or I've even wondered if we might see a reunion of him and Kimi Räikkönen at Sauber.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, replacing Antonio Giovinazzi, which if you remember, Vettel was a test driver for BMW Sauber when he made his debut in F1 in 2007.
Right, exactly.
Well, I've also seen some other news here about Ferrari has confirmed that they're evaluating the prospects of joining IndyCar with budget caps in Formula One coming in the next few years. It's opened up a lot of money in their budget that they can use to expand their worldwide presence, and naturally, IndyCar seems like a great fit. So the question is are they confirming this as a team or as a potential third manufacturer?
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, Ferrari 30 years ago, or probably 35 years ago, they actually designed an Indy car of their own as their they were at the time evaluating leaving Formula One, which there's always going to be politics in F1 of whether or not they're going to stay or go. But I mean, it would be, I mean, but as you mentioned, it would be interesting to see if they were to do a complete migration of their Scuderia Ferrari program to IndyCar, or if they were just a customer based program of similar to what they do in sports cars.
Yeah, they're also looking at a potential sports car program of themselves and not just like a Scooty or a Corsa or one of their affiliates, but an actual new factory team in sports cars at the top level, which would be good for WEC to get a infusion of a new team, new money basically, because they are struggling.
Yeah, well, WEC definitely needs it ever since the Aston Martin pulled the plug on their Valkyrie hypercar.
Yeah, the last 2 years has not been good for WEC at all. I mean, the racing and the on track product has been entertaining, but as far as them moving forward as a sport, it is clearly not happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of good is going to come from the IMSA WEC convergence to where you can run prototype. They can share a common formula. That's definitely going to be a plus.
Yes, it would.
Wait, which one? Um, I'm sorry, which one? I was reading something. I cannot read anything in this square. I'm sorry. I suck. Wait, what am I doing? Which one did I hit? Oh, crying out loud. No, I don't want to share a screen. Stop it. There you are. There we are. Okay, wait, I'm back. Oh, okay. Did I just bring the whole show to a screeching halt? I'm sorry. I just asked for just a clarification of what exactly you just said. That's all.
I mean, it's Ferrari. They have the resources to do just about whatever they want at this point. If they want to go to IndyCar, be a team, be a potential engine manufacturer. They could even be a chassis supplier. They could rival Dallara. I think that's probably the least likely option given how expensive that process is and the low cost that Dallara has provided over the last handful of years. But if Roger really made a pitch at Ferrari as an engine manufacturer, that would be leaps and bounds more beneficial to the series than them just coming in as a new team.
Mm-hmm.
And even if like Honda and Chevy could get together and work with Ferrari and be like, hey, we'll help you out, bring you in on this because they already have a big head start on the new hybrid system. that's coming out in a couple years and other things. But anything to level the playing field to bring in a third manufacturer is right now the number one priority that the series needs to grow.
Yeah,
Ferrari ever been part of IndyCar? I was going to say yes, but
What'd
I
you
don't
say,
think
Frank?
so. Has Ferrari ever been part of IndyCar? I want to say
It's been a
yes, but I
very
don't
long
think
time.
so.
um,
You
yeah.
know,
Their last real involvement was when they owned Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo supplied engines and kart for in the early '90s, but the program didn't last very long, and Ferrari had designed their own car in the mid '80s, but other than that, they have not really been a they have not been a part of the series at all.
Ferrari 637 IndyCar project. Some 35 years.
so it's been 35 years.
So it says some 35 years after the stillborn Ferrari 637 IndyCar project, which was created during an ongoing dispute between Enzo Ferrari and the FIA. The chances of France first competing in U.S. open wheel races appears to have taken a significant leap forward.
Right on.
I'm just going to dig my shit up. Looking.
It was so out of left field. Like, why are they firing him now? I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense, especially with the whole Raikkonen switch up and everything. Like, they should have just kept Raikkonen. Just saying. So, I mean, so now who drives for Ferrari?
Fans and oh, the kid I like, Charles Leclerc.
Ah,
Yeah. Well, and you also have to consider that Mick Schumacher is also part of Ferrari's pipeline, and I would think Ferrari would probably want nothing more than to see another Schumacher in their seat in the future.
mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting that they get rid of Vettel and all of a sudden there's IndyCar talk. I would be cool about the third engine manufacturer for these. So that won't happen anytime soon, then. Maybe about 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, anything to get a new team, new manufacturers, new drivers, anything new that can come in IndyCar can only help it at this point. I mean, if it's Alonso coming over for the Indy 500 or other races, that will draw heads. I mean, the new drivers coming up from the road to Indy this year, guys like Oliver Askew, Rinus VeeKay, these guys are going to inject new life, and we know they're talented. I mean, Oliver Askew's done nothing but win ever since he joined racing at a relatively old age compared to other drivers. So it'll definitely be interesting here, beginning of June, to see the series finally get the real season underway in Texas, albeit with no fans and very limited staff. Are
Yeah.
you planning on going to that race, Josh? Texas.
Which one? Um, probably not.
Yeah, it won't be easy to get in, even if you have a hard card. There's a list.
I'm sure my name's on this.
But I mean, I'm just hoping that Road America, that I mean their state Supreme Court overturned any stay-at-home order in Wisconsin yesterday. And then Road America today announced that they're partnering with C-Tech Manufacturing to add sneeze guards, plexiglass sneeze guards, to basically every food stall and vendor, gift shop, everywhere where there's people working within Road America will have plexiglass sneeze guards to protect the employees, which leads me to believe that Road America is pushing ahead with having fans for them to be operating the way
Yeah.
that
Well,
we normally expected them to be.
yeah. Well, I think Road America makes sense to where they can have spectators because the property is ginormous enough to where people can space out a lot easier than at a closed facility.
Yeah, and it's 640 acres. I mean, it's so easy to socially distance. My only concern is with camping, because I've seen the campsites at Road America, and they are not socially distant. There's a lot of sites that are close together, people partying together, hanging out all night. I mean, I can get socially distancing as you're moving around the facility, but more than likely no grandstands will be open. So you're going to have people spreading out around the track, around every corner, where it's going to not look like years past at Road America. It will look like something different. And I don't know how effective they will be at the whole social distancing aspect. But if there's any one track I had to say you can do it at, it's Road America.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I wonder how many people it would take to line like the outside and inside walls of Road America. Like 5 million.
Well, I mean, my
It's
dad
just
and
so
I go
big.
every year, and we like to start the race down in turn one there, and there's a grandstand there, and also mounds. Well, the grandstands are almost always full, and even the mounds next to it, people will drive their golf carts up to the mound up along the fence there, and watch cars coming into turn one. Well, if nobody can go into the grandstand, that's just going to push everyone out down there, and it's only going to make it that much more crowded, which it already is pretty crowded there around the start of every race.
Right, right. I mean, where we watched it, what last year was a pretty good spot. That was great. I mean, I thought it was the best spot at Road America was at turn five, six.
Yeah, we've always been a
Yeah.
big fan going up on top of the hill. Like there's the big hill by the Lions Club up there where like it winds up there, and when you're parked up there, you can see everything in turn five, great. And then you can see cars coming out of Canada Corner coming up the hill around to the final corner. You can see them emerging from the woods there, which is really cool. It's probably the best vantage point on the track because you can see the most, which over 4 point something
Right,
miles, the more you can see, the better. But it's
right,
definitely one of
right.
those great classic tracks where there really is very few bad places to watch the race.
I would say Barber is about the hardest track to watch a race at because it's like the track is so much more elevated than the rest of the ground.
Yeah, the natural terrain and everything there at Barber does make it a lot harder to see. And even Road America does too. I mean, you go down to Canada Corner, there's only one place you can watch anything in Canada Corner. Now, the granted they added the cart path along the inside of the corner, but before that, the only place you could go watch anything Canada Corner is to walk down a big stairwell and down into this cramped little area.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's the one thing about these natural terrain road courses is that it is natural terrain.
road
Yes.
course. You can't hear anything. Um, I don't know what to tell you there, Josh. You probably have to hit mute or something. Check your sound settings.
Nothing changed on my end.
He can't hear anything.
I was glad that they were able to get St. Pete back on the schedule this year, and it becomes the finale. I like that. St. Pete as the finale.
Yeah, I was very happy to hear that news come out yesterday.
I think that's pretty cool.
It's just gonna be interesting because like the season's gonna end at St. Pete, and then 5 months later it's gonna start again at St. Pete.
Right.
Hey, Jared, is Missy's mic coming over better right there?
I'm not sure. All I see is when you talk, it's changes on Skype who is talking, shows a video of who's talking. Well, when Missy talks, it never shows her video. It only shows Frank's, which leads me to believe that her audio is transmitting through Frank, which is why his video stays up, even when Missy's talking.
I mean, all I know is I have one input and it's both of us.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
all right, I'm back.
Hey, we can hear Josh.
What'd you do? Go to the phone?
Yep, gotta make do with that since my Skype is acting wonky.
Well, either way.
Okay.
But yeah, having St. Pete at the end of the year in October, I mean, it's definitely going to cause an issue. I just really hope that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have a home game that weekend, because I would much rather go see Tampa Brady than see some racing.
I would.
Yeah, well, I think that was probably the big hang up, because that weekend the Buccaneers, that's actually their bye week. So
I'm pretty sure the reason why they waited to announce this was they were waiting for the NFL schedule to come out and to pick a weekend in October that was either an away game or a bye week. Bye week is the best because nobody will be watching TV. Nobody will be watching really football in that entire area. Will be able to get them out to the track. I think that was the best option they had.
Yeah, well, I think a couple of things to note on that. Of number one, I think the reason to salvage St. Petersburg was mostly to help a promoter out, because Green Savary, with St. Petersburg essentially getting sunk at the very last minute. If you're a promoter, you stand to lose a ton of money if that happens, and right now Toronto looks iffy with the ban on sporting events, and that's another Green Savary promoted event. So being able to save that, but I think the other thing, as we mentioned, of having the race in October, is that this goes against what was the Holman and Company's MO for many years of we can't compete against football, we can't compete against football, but now we're starting to see how Penske isn't afraid to go ahead and have races in October, which is the more the merrier for the series.
Well, a lot of that mindset from Holman and Company was more Mark Miles. That was Mark Miles' biggest thing, is that he believed that the sport couldn't compete with the NFL, and in all reality it can't, and that he wanted the season to end by Labor Day so that he didn't have to worry about it. Now his hands got kind of twisted by the coronavirus, but I can also guarantee you that Roger Penske doesn't care and is willing to overrule Mark Miles, as opposed to Holman and Company, to Tony, just didn't care. Just said, Mark, you do your thing. Well, now Roger has no issue stepping in and lending his voice to the decision-making process. For better or worse,
yeah,
it is what it is, and it'll be an interesting test to see how well it works out. With, as far as I can see, there's 3 races: Portland, Laguna Seca, actually 4, the Harvest Grand Prix, and now St. Pete, that will all go up against the NFL and college football. And we'll see if the decision of the last few years to end the season relatively early was a good idea or not. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really sure it was much on Mark Miles as it was much the Boston consulting groups ideas for fixing IndyCar after 2012. Remember that?
Oh yeah, because
Well,
Boston IndyCar has such a great track record.
oh yeah, don't even get me started. A city that is not motor racing centric. They hire a consulting group from a city that knows that doesn't know that's never supported any kind of auto racing.
I believe the word you were looking for is diddly squat.
Yes, diddly squat.
Yes. They don't know diddly squat.
But at least we got a couple years of Watkins Glen out of it.
What do you think, Missy?
Not racing. I think that's walking somewhere. It's honestly come up on Saturday. You know, just history and customers and also sounds Virginia.
Yeah, really. How'd she sound there, Jared?
I heard
Was that good?
nothing. I just heard light whispers. Missy, pretend that you're mad at Frank and then talk to us.
Jared, I don't know, man. It could be on your end because like my recorder's picking up
Now,
everything.
I
And
hear
it's
you
on the
just
screen.
fine, but Missy is very quiet. But I also hear a lot of background noise. I keep hearing motorcycles and other background noise.
Yeah, it's the streets of New Jersey.
This microphone is not that sensitive.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, like when Missy talks, I can hear her just fine. And when Jared talks, I can hear her just fine. When everybody talks, I can hear her just fine. But if you can't hear us, I don't know what's going on.
We'll figure it out later.
Well,
Anyways, let's see what other news we got here. IMSA has actually had
Missy,
their had a race tonight. Race at Road America. They had a big thing.
who?
IMSA. They just had
Well,
a feature race at E-Race at Road America with Nick Tandy winning over Bruno Spengler, Philip Eng, Shinya Mishimi, and John Edwards. Looks like a big sports car battle. Well, prototype battle.
crazy.
But then Road to Indy last night had a race in their new series, the Tire Rack series. I can already see Frank's eyes glazing over here at the prospects of that. But Philippe Denes took another back-to-back victory there at Laguna Seca in a pair of 20-minute sprint races. Did anybody else tune in to watch that last night?
I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, every Wednesday night, the voice of the Road to Indy, Rob Howden, on the call.
Oh, right. Missy, did you catch it? Great sound waves, by the way, when Missy just talked through Jared. Just saying.
I mean, Philippe Denes has been quite the story. I mean, he's been trying to secure just a ride for this season for real, and he can't get it. He's been trying to he's trying to get on the defending team RP Motorsports, trying to get into Indy Pro 2000 and can't find the funding, but he goes into this iRacing and just has been smoking the competition every week. So do you think that this guys like Sage Karam, these guys that are these iRacing guys, do you think that they can translate this into a real ride at any level? You think that this has actually increased their exposure and up their stock?
No. I don't think any of the sim racing will do much of anything for anybody in the real world of racing when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I concur. I mean, it's been a good way to fill out some content, but I mean, as far as trying to elevate somebody's stock, I mean, it certainly is a good way to practice your craft mentally and learn some basics, but you're not going to get that real feeling unless you're in a real car.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Look, and what like Rob Howden had said it. Hunter said it. Even Connor Daly said it. And Connor straight up just doesn't like it. But I mean, at least Hunter and Rob look at it as a tool, and that's it. And if you can add more stock to a driver just because he uses a tool to try to get better with sim racing, I think that's a bad way to go about trying to select a driver. I don't know. Because anybody can use sim racing. So that really just cancels out the whole sim racing thing to use it as a tool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's essentially like using. I mean, if you use the tool analogy, it's kind of like you're using a calculator in fifth grade math. Just because you can plug numbers into a calculator and get the correct answer doesn't mean that you're going to be a good mathematician.
That's true. I mean, it doesn't fully translate over, but there is something to be said about the way they did the race last night, because they had their first race and then they inverted the top 10. So with Dines winning the first race, he had to start the second race in 10th and still worked his way back up to win. Now, I think that there should be something said about that, because that does show a level of talent, and he does have a year of USF 2000 racing under his belt. So he does have the real experience. This is just a way to kind of supplement that in the meantime, and I think that it helps his stock. I wouldn't be surprised to see him land some sort of, if not full season ride, a partial season ride in Indy Pro this year off of this. I mean, somebody has to take notice of this, because it's just been dominance by him. Almost every single one of these races he's won.
What do you think, Missy?
I mean, yeah, he has been dominant. I mean, they actually have standings on Road to Indy. So he's currently wrapped up 96 points. But Brandon Reeves is only 6 points behind him to 90.
Yeah, it's been pretty close between the two of them. They've been battling it all season long. It'll be interesting to see once we get going for real, if what kind of rivalry moves or continues on throughout the season. Which you'll get that. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the last lap of the Indy 500 this year and see what happens for real. Because if what happened in the iRacing one is any sign, someone will probably die. I mean, I'm pretty sure Graham Rahal's car is still in orbit from that race.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of guys would be waiting in line to speak with Kyle Novak after that last lap debacle.
Yeah, I thought I was watching a NASCAR race.
Yeah, well,
but it is what it is.
I think I did figure out the whole sound thing with Missy, dude. By the way, just wanted to tell you that, sorry.
Okay, well,
For some reason with Missy, there's a mute button next to her name. I don't know why, because I mute her. But then if I go to Jared's name, I can mute him if I wanted to. But obviously I'm not. And there's no mute button next to him. Same thing with you, Jared, but for some reason Missy's, she's muted. I don't know why.
yeah, I'm seeing that too. Yeah. Is this something on your end, Missy?
because if she mute, because she has to mute her mic on her. Okay, so she has to mute her mic on her computer, so her video camera sees her, but there's no echo. You see what I'm saying? But everything she's saying is going through my output, so it shouldn't matter.
That's
Oh,
fine. I mean, she's sounding a little bit better.
okay, because I turned her way up. That's why.
Right.
So I just wanted to see if that helped. I'm just trying to get some feedback here because I would like the listeners to actually hear her. That's all. Because what she has to say is actually, really, what she has to say is interesting.
Yeah.
And plus, I have a new mixer, so I have a new mixer, everybody, and it's an upgraded mixer, and I'm trying to figure out, the ins and outs of it. So I'm still trying to figure that out. So, but it's not that hard to figure out. Right now I'm screwing with. Listen to me. Don't I sound stupid?
Well,
Don't I sound
that's
ridiculous right
normal.
now? I know. But then you do this, and look, oh look, Frank's back. Doesn't he sound awesome now? You sound just the bestest. Better
Yeah.
among the restest. Yep. Thank you. We need real races. This is what we need. We need real races. I'm talking about my mixer. Remedies.
Yes, I am very much looking forward to the return of IndyCar on June 6th, I think it was, at Texas Motor Speedway.
What do you
Yeah,
think, Missy?
6th.
Texas Motor Speedway, first race of the season. Did you ever think it?
No. Yeah, I don't like the sound of that. Mm-mm.
That was nothing but bass. Am I the only one that heard nothing but bass there, or did you hear it?
I heard a little bit of words.
A little bit of words? I can hear it just fine.
I blame your crappy mixer.
No. The ones before that were crappy mixers, and they seemed to work. Well, they didn't work fine at all because there was this sound. But this one doesn't have a sound at all. It's just for some reason, I don't know why I can't hear Missy. Jesus.
Yeah, apparently it's really loud for everybody. Well, for Frank only, and Frank got all of Missy's audio. It's all going to Frank, nowhere else.
It's a headphone. It's a headphone with a splitter. I don't know what else to tell you here. There's no button to turn panels off or anything, and you can hear her. So, and I
Real life behind the scenes.
what?
I said the real life behind the scenes.
Yep. Let's hear it.
Yep.
Try and see if there's any other news here. I guess on the 24th, on what would have been Indy 500 Day, NBC is gonna show a 4-hour special presentation of last year's Indy 500. As if we all haven't seen that enough this spring.
Yeah. I wonder if Alexander Rossi will get him this time.
Yeah. Although apparently him and Simon filmed something at Indy today.
Like what?
Yeah,
they were doing some TV work today and yesterday at the Speedway.
Yeah, I'm sure it's part of whatever NBC Sports is doing on the 24th.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm really curious to see come August, to see with my own two eyes, and I'm sure the rest of y'all are all the speedway improvements that have been underway.
I can't wait to pee in brand new troughs.
Yeah, well, the most important part of any establishment is the toilet, because if you're a customer and you see a dirty toilet, you've lost that customer.
Yeah, well, if you're letting people bring in their own beer, you better have good bathroom facilities.
Well, if they bring their ice chest and they got something to throw up in.
Right.
Well, just like boxed wine, except I'm stealing from Jeff Dunham.
I think Missy knows somebody who would probably bring boxed wine into the facility, and Missy would probably hang out with her, drinking boxed wine all race long.
Are you implying?
Well, she can't anymore, but before I know a nice lady named Kristen Davis who would love to share a drink with Missy at the racetrack,
Or two.
or more than one.
The Davises are a blast to hang out
They
with at the
are.
track.
They are really good people. I really miss seeing them and everybody I've met over the years at the track. It's like I've always said that everybody in the paddock, everybody in the IndyCar community is like a second family to me, and to not be able to see any of these people for such a long time is really emotionally draining.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I miss my girl. I text her, but it's not the same. She has introduced me to a lot of alcohol that I've grown fond of.
It's great to know.
But I don't drink hardly ever, so every once in a while it's alright.
Yeah, only at the Missy's a track drinker.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you two at the track.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep, I don't know either.
No idea what you're talking about.
Nope.
Definitely not Iowa next year at all.
No,
Definitely
not Iowa, not Mid Ohio, not anywhere.
Not me.
I'm still waiting though for the days when you can wear a mask over one of those beer dispensing plastic helmets. Because the day they have that, you can hold the Indy 500 no matter what. If you can get fans out there drinking their beer inside their mask, you could throw whatever pandemic our way and we'll still have the 500.
I'll look at the little tube inside.
I did see someone had taken a like the container for like wet wipes and turned that into a mask so you can just lift up the flap and then drink through it.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna.
Wait,
that's how
I'm lift up the flap and drink what?
so you can drink through it.
Wait, what is it?
Like a package of wet wipes has the flap on the top so you can pull
Oh,
them
sure,
out.
sure.
Yeah, well, they turn that package into a mask, and then you can just open the flap in the front to drink.
That's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
I mean, if it won't stop you from catching a thing, but
No, I mean, you're gonna get the Rona, but you can at least get drunk.
if you're going to get the Rona, might as well get drunk. Yep.
Yeah. Be like Joe Walsh. Lock the doors in case you get drunk. Or
I mean, he's got mansions, but he heard they're nice.
Isn't it like how they said Cinco de Mayo fell on Taco Tuesday, but was ruined by Corona?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday, perfect. Oh no, we can't get any tacos. Didn't we have tacos though? Still, I think we made tacos that day anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there any IndyCar news at all since last week, or no? Except for the E Series stuff.
No, I think the only real news this week was St. Pete being rescheduled.
What day?
October 25th, the weekend before Halloween.
That's right. Yep.
I already booked my tickets. $189 round trip.
Can't beat that. And whose smelly house you gonna be staying in down there this time?
I think I actually booked myself a hotel.
Ooh.
Mostly because my
Weird.
Airbnbs seem to like to be canceling on me. I had my Iowa one reach out and say, we're canceling your reservation. So I had to rebook
Good.
something. Fortunately, I was able to find a hotel in Newton for, it was like $323 for 3 nights.
Ouch.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's something.
I guess you can't blame them, you know. Canceling everybody for
No,
what's
they
going on.
basically said if you're staying less than 30 days, if you're staying for less than a month, we're canceling your reservation.
Who stays more than a month on an Airbnb?
Well, especially in Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody would want to stay longer than a week in Iowa.
I know, are you nuts?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much corn you can look at.
Corn.
Well, at least he won't. At least he won't starve to death.
Yeah, just go to
Sure.
the infield of dreams.
Shit.
That sign gets me every
Sure.
time. Every time I drive into that track and go into the infield and see that sign, I can't help but laugh. If you build it, it will come.
I love Iowa.
I do too.
It's a shame it's so far away. Maybe we should fly to a race one of these days.
Just hitch a ride with Roger. I'm sure he flies into the airport that's right next door to the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one simple call.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem at
Just
all.
call my buddy Roger.
Wait, what does Ricardo's McLaren sidestep mean for his F1 career? So Ricardo, did we talk about this?
Yeah, we talked about Ricardo going to McLaren.
Figures. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the
It's
end of
weird, though.
Ricardo's career.
Yeah, he'll be doing nothing but
DNFs,
yeah.
mechanical issues.
I mean, if he had a problem with Verstappen as a teammate, I mean, who's this teammate now? Who's this guy? I don't know who he is. Doesn't look familiar at all.
I don't know. I mean, to go from Renault to McLaren seems like a very neutral at best move.
So he went from Red Bull to Renault to McLaren within a year?
Yeah. Still gonna be driving
That's some
along.
jumps.
You'll be driving alongside Lando Calrissian. I mean Lando Norris.
Oh, the E Series just heartthrob,
Yes,
right?
yes, the IndyCar
So-
iRacing heartthrob.
So does that mean Lando should be the #1 driver at McLaren?
Yeah, and they should assign Sage Karam as well.
Oh, God, yeah. That makes sense. Makes sense. I'm just getting beaten down by this. I've had it with this whole thing. I need it to be over. I need this to be over. What are they doing? Of all the tech, of all the things, we've landed on the moon, for crying out loud. We did it in 9 years. You guys can't come with a vaccine in 3 months? What are you doing?
Well, I mean, you could. If money was no object and there was no profit to be made, we would have had it by now. But someone's got to make money, and that requires
There
time.
is a profit to be made. A vaccine for 8 billion people? If you charge $1 a vaccine, that's $8 billion.
Who's gonna get it?
What do you mean?
People with problems with the vaccines that we have now. Who's going to get the coronavirus vaccine?
Yeah, Jenny McCarthy told me not to get the coronavirus vaccine.
Yeah,
Jenny
and what medical school did she go to?
She went to the how you feed your kid is like a bird. You chew it up in your own mouth and spit it into theirs. I'm not joking. She's done that.
Yeah, well, and not to get on that, but that whole anti-vax thing, that whole thing was a hoax.
Yeah, let's clear this up. The doctor that has had his doctorate removed, he is not allowed to practice medicine ever again because his papers were doctored, and the whole anti-vaxxer thing and the vaccines give you autism bull BS and all that. That's all crap. All right. So if you believe that, you obviously just take people at their word, and you are doing more harm than good. So when your child gets an African whooping cough, you can blame yourself for being an idiot. Get your kids vaccinated, people.
Yeah, vaccines don't cause autism. Look at Frank. He's never been vaccinated and he still has autism.
I was vaccinated highly, sir.
Okay, well, then maybe it does cause autism.
Oh my!
Just slight spectrum.
Yep.
Dude, that whole gene, the mutation, the autism gene, that's before you're born. You got it. You don't get vaccinated in the womb. Just saying.
They should.
Am I wrong? You should. Good luck on that. Okay, we took a major turn. This is racing.
Yep. We can talk about wrestling.
No. Time out. Missy, your opinion. No. Go. I want to hear your opinion. Go.
No.
This is the only time you're going to have an opinion on it, so you just go.
Missy, 10 opinions. Go.
I was just going to point out, if mom had certain vaccines, she can pass on, antibodies to baby, but
What?
never mind.
If the mom had the vaccine, she could pass on the antibodies to the baby.
Yeah.
So then the baby doesn't need to be vaccinated because it's already vaccinated from the mother, you're saying?
No, they still need to be vaccinated, but you can pass on some antibodies for a certain period of time.
But bottom line is, it's not going to protect you from, say, tuberculosis.
You should be vaccinated.
I mean, it's the same.
The reason there isn't cases of whooping cough and smallpox anymore is because people are vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason there's no Aztecs running around anymore. You want to know why? No vaccinations. That's why.
Yeah, well, it's also the same process that allows like a mother to transmit a disease to her unborn baby. Same process that transmits the good stuff can also transmit the bad stuff.
Right, but vaccinations have nothing to do with any of that.
So here's an opinion for you. When you're pregnant, maybe you should have the blood work done that you're supposed to, so you can find that stuff before baby's born. Throw that out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
let this be a lesson to all you future parents out there. Screen your children, your future children, so that they don't end up like Frank.
If you practice, was it homeopathy, whatever? If you practice that, please stop. It's not doing anything for you.
Yeah, just pray it all away.
That works.
Yeah, I thought this was ISCP, not way off topic.
I know, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
Well,
all right, so
I'm all out of racing topics, so
I ran out of content. I don't know what else to talk about.
Well, maybe we can just cut it here, wrap it up. I'm sure there'll be more stuff that comes out next week. It'll be next week was supposed to be Indy 500 week, so I can't imagine that there won't be any sort of news or something coming out next week. At least I hope so, because is it August yet?
I just want to give a shout out to I think his name's Adian Millward. Do you guys know about this guy on YouTube, Adian Millward? He does this thing called Story Time. He does a lot of like in-depth stories about different things throughout, the last 40 years. Pretty interesting stuff. Um, I think so anyway. So check it out. Adian Millward, AID, I don't know. Try to spell it a few different ways. You'll find them. Maybe I'll tweet it out. All right, I'll tweet the link
Yeah,
out
do
for
that.
you. Check it out. Or maybe who knows? We could play it right now. You want to do that? We could play one. No,
I'd rather.
they're kind of
Yeah,
long.
they're kind of
kinda
long.
Yeah,
Ah.
he calls it story time for a reason. So at
It'll
any
turn
rate,
into nap time for me.
yeah. Well, no, they're interesting actually. But why you can't listen to other people talk about things? But you can watch people sim race.
I can barely watch people sim race.
But you announce people sim racing, which is a lot more fun. What are you doing, Josh?
Nothing.
Okay. Every once in a while, I see this like I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully by next week we'll get the whole audio thing figured out. Um, you know, um, so people can hear Missy's beautiful voice. And we'll figure it out. And it's a work in progress. We're always trying to better ourselves. Like don't want to get stagnant. Always want to try to better ourselves. So yeah. Um, Josh, where can I find all of your good stuff at, buddy?
Follow me on Twitter at jfarmer7710 and stay tuned for some updates.
Ooh, okay. Jared?
You can follow me on Twitter, JDePaul. You can see there on your screen.
That's right. You see everything on the screen.
Yes.
That's what's great
Magic.
about it. Love it. I do like it. I do like it. Now, Jared, have you ever thought about taking this to YouTube and stream on YouTube,
Like
maybe?
a YouTube live, yeah, this could be done there. This podcast will be
Because
uploaded to the Indy SportsCar Podcast YouTube page tomorrow for everybody to watch. But unfortunately, I can only output to one server at a time, and so it's either Hot Mic or YouTube or Facebook. I can only do one at a time.
I got you. Yeah, and you need OBS for YouTube.
Correct. I've actually
And
done stuff on YouTube with the
and
OBS. But you'll actually find me here on
and
Hot Mic tomorrow night doing a live PD. One of the best shows on television.
nice. All right. Missy, where can I find you?
Missy Woods.
Right on.
Or should I be saying www.theindysportscarpodcast.com.
There it is. And I think, so far, does anybody have a favorite livery that they've seen on the sim side that they probably will never see in real life? Has that happened yet? I mean, except for Blue Emu. No? Okay.
No, I think they've all been running normal paint schemes.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say Will Power's been doing good with the E-Series, considering he hates doing it. So that just shows you how good he is. All right, moving on.
I mean, didn't we have Will on the show last week?
Yeah, we did. Is he coming back?
I don't know. We might be able to get him back next week, or
You sure?
I
You
might
want
be
him
able to find another. Might be able to find another driver to come on the show next week to Skype in.
You want to give Will a call just in case?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if we can get Will to call in, I mean, for real, if we can get the real Will on the show, that'd be awesome. But I can always get
That's not happening.
Will on the show anytime.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we might be able to hook that up next week. Might be able to take care of that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it was fun having him on last week. So.
Yeah, it was awesome of him to come on.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of fun. Wish he still had his mustache. Or no.
No, he
I
got
don't
rid of
remember.
all that. Him and Simon both got rid of their beards, which makes me very sad.
Oh, that's a shame. Missy, do you miss it?
Oh, yeah, Simon was looking pretty good with his beard going
Simon was what?
on. Looking pretty good with his beard going on.
You sound much better. Okay, cool. Less bass. All right. Turn down that bass. Down that bass. Down that bass. Yeah. I think on that note, Missy.
Yes, on that note, you know, and I know, that Frank still knows nothing. And, Johnny and Josh, IndyCar season's getting closer, right?
You know?
Yeah, 4 more weeks.
Yep.
Yep. LAW the 20.
Yeah, I hope to see lots of people out at the track at Road America next month. I mean, it's Father's Day weekend, the race on Father's Day. I mean, I hope to have my dad there. Yeah, I just hope to see a really good turnout. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week.
Oh, we're still live on the hot mic. Okay, because I already ended the podcast.